Yo, welcome to Generation 1. We are so glad that you decided to join us today. We have an incredible and impactful conversation that we cannot wait to get into. Can you tell us, Jay, what are we talking about?
Don't mind if I do. Today we're talking about healing. It's going to be a wonderful conversation, very relevant in every season. I think we all need to talk about healing, take time to learn how to heal. And so these people on this podcast right now are going to drop some gems on you. It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. And the beautiful thing about healing is it's a journey. I think that we're always healing from things that we've gone through and things that even are happening in our lives right now. And it just helps to know that we're not alone in these things that we go through. And so we really want to create a space where we can talk about the things that are necessary, healing and health and wholeness and all of what it comes with just living a life of purpose and living a life of being somebody who is going through real stuff. So we're excited to talk about that today, and we have some beautiful perspectives that are going to be shared with you. We want you to listen, tap in, Gen 1.
Hey you guys, my name is Ren and we are Generation 1. Today we're going to have a conversation about healing. So I'm here with my girls, and can you guys introduce yourselves real quick?
Hi, I'm Taya.
And I'm Mariah.
Hey, I'm Carmen. So today's subject is going to be how to heal. So I'm going to kick it off with this question. How have you experienced healing in your own life?
Ooh. Want to go first? Want me to go first?
You should go first.
Okay. So the first experience I really had physically was I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and it's been a couple-year journey now. And I really never knew God as the healer until this very thing happened to me. But it's been such a beautiful journey. I've learned him in new ways. I've learned new ways to surrender. Where I felt like I was like trapped in my bed, I was able to turn that into like a workspace. So there's just so many things that he could switch for your good that you don't know until you're really in it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Not all at once, girls.
If this is a safe space to be completely transparent, I'm still healing.
Yeah.
I think it's a continuous journey. There's things that like happened in my past and trauma that I'm still figuring it out. I just found a therapist 6 months ago, didn't work out, back on the prowl again to find another one. So I think my experience is that like I'm able to name that, I want to start the healing process. I want to like find a therapist, and I want to get better like in my word and memorizing scriptures, so that way I'm armed with something when things come my way. But to be completely honest, it's a work in progress.
Yes.
I think and everyone can agree, like healing isn't a destination. It's a continuous learning process.
Yeah.
No, I can agree with Carmen 100% just about healing being a journey. And I think I'm definitely still healing myself too. And I also think like, it's so interesting because when I was like younger, I would think, I would get over things and think I was healing, but I think I was more so like just distracting myself. And I think that when I really, really like developed my relationship with God, that's when like the true healing started for me, because it was like truly from the inside without just like distracting myself or like just like trying to tell myself that I'm fine. So I think, but yeah, I agree with Carmen as like I'm still on this healing journey, and I feel like new things come up all the time that I need to work on and heal from that, I didn't know before. So yeah, it's definitely a constant journey that I'm grateful to be on.
Yeah. Now, you guys have incredible stories like Mariah with your like physical healing journey, and that's something that you have been healed and you yet are still walking through it at the same time. Like, I think that's like so key to remember with both of you guys' testimony as well, is like it's something that unfolds over time, because I think that when you're dealing with just like trauma, like you can't talk about healing and not talk about trauma, but that's something that a lot of people I think scare from. When talking about trauma and talking about something, because traumatizing is like, oh, it's such a big word. Like I was traumatized, but it's like, no, it's just like you experienced something that was really devastating or really hurtful. And I think as you go through like life, like in my personal testimony of healing, there are just layers. Like, you know, you go through a season and, you know, however you express it, whether it's, you know, whether it's crying or whether it's journaling or whether you're talking with people. I think expressing it, getting it out of your head and into the atmosphere is like so crucial. For sure. Preferably not just like to a wall, but like to people that can help you say like, hey, Ren, I heard you say this, but that's not true about yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you need to not think that way. Or have you considered this alternative thought, or this, or have you considered that, you know, this person was going through this and that's why they did that to you?
Can we touch on that though? When you talk about like saying it out loud, a lot of us are like hurting in silence, and we don't have to be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Especially like, as like Christians, like we're like, oh, I don't want to tell that tea because like they're gonna judge me or whatever. And what I love about being around you guys is that it's really no judgment. Like this is a journey. And Mariah was telling me literally yesterday, like, if you don't tell anyone, how are you supposed to get feedback? And I think there's definitely like a dynamic between, you know, telling too much and God tells you like, all right, you can hold back some. But there's some power in like telling your story and having people hold you accountable. But a lot of people are hurting in silence, and it should be said out loud so people can hear. Like, sometimes you'll tell your story like, do you know how crazy you sound right now? But you've been saying it to yourself. And you're the only one that has a story.
That is so
you're like, I'm gonna just live in my own insanity and not share it.
The enemy tries to keep it like all in your head, and the good thing is that when you're around good people, even on your healing journey, you're still gonna get triggered. But it's with safe people, and you kind of like look at their heart and you're like, oh, they're not coming to like hurt me. And then now that's a point of, okay, God, am I gonna go through this healing journey with someone, or do you want it to just be me and you face to face? You know? So it's like, it's always different. It's always new. But the healing it's a journey.
It is.
That, I would say that's definitely like struggling in silence. That's definitely something that I've really struggled with too. And I'm realizing it more so now, just because like when I'm going through stuff, and I think especially me, because a lot of times I have like a really loud personality, and so sometimes I feel like pressure to always be like that when I'm around people, because I feel like I don't want them to see me. And I've been realizing like I have a serious issue with like pride, and like I don't want people to see me, you know, down or low or feeling a certain way or having, you know, feeling these things, because I feel like, you know, you're not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be this. And so I think one thing that I'm learning is really relieving myself of that pressure to kind of like perform in front of people, especially in front of people that I can trust, you know, because I find myself sometimes struggling to even open up to people that are my family, that I'm close to. But I'm learning to like shed that off. And I'm recognizing that my journey could really like impact someone as well. You know what I mean? My healing journey, me opening up and being honest, is gonna do so much more than me trying to put on a face all the time and try to act like I'm fine and act like I'm good. You know, like it could touch someone else. My journey and what I'm going through can touch someone else. And so like I'm really like at this point in my life working to just get better at opening up and talking to people that I can trust. You know. But it's a constant thing that I have to like. Okay, Taya, you got to do it, because that's my second nature to, you know, go into my little turtle shell. You know,
I think it's human. Like I think it's human nature to kind of like want to present your best self.
100%.
But it's like, you know, there's only so much. There's only so far that you can go every single day with like trying to put your best effort out there. But you said something that I was like, that's true too. Like, let's talk about balance, right? So you want to share, but you want to share in the context of people that you trust, because there's sometimes where you you share something and you get something that is negative that could also, you know, exacerbate the journey of healing, and it can make it worse and make it more painful. And so I think the balance is knowing when you have somebody or have a group of people that have your best interest at heart, who have showed it with their actions as well. And then if you don't have somebody like that, I think it's so important to go to therapy, or to, you know, find some resources, people that are helpful, and just so that you can have just something that will help you heal and not exacerbate the issue too. Because, you know, sometimes we overshare and it's kind of like, you know, I'm hurting, you're hurting. Let's try to bring somebody else down with our words, you know, or let's try to, you know, like, and that's how people get into toxic relationships. It's like when your relationship is based off of your like
Shared
brokenness
hurt.
and your shared hurt, and like you're tearing other people down now. So it's so important like who to talk to as well when you do that.
Yeah. Not everybody's your friend, child.
Listen.
That's true.
Yeah,
That is true.
definitely.
There's something else that you said that I was thinking. It was like, sometimes you don't want to tell people because you don't want to feel like the burden.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
gosh.
God literally puts keys in other people to help heal you in this journey. Like, if I didn't open up, I remember the first time I was feeling pain and I wasn't diagnosed yet, and God was like, call your friend Chanel. I called her and I was crying. She's like, what's wrong? She just prayed over me, and I was able to get up after that prayer.
That's beautiful.
So when you open up and you let those walls down and you let people in, God blesses you and them too.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like borrowing other people's belief in you and strength too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's
borrowing
borrowed.
that. You
Yeah.
know, that's another thing that I'm learning. Yeah, it's
Yes.
borrowing their strength.
That's beautiful. Oh my God, I love this conversation. Okay, so the next question I'll ask is, okay, so how do you heal when you've been let down or had your heart broken? Ooh, let's do it. Let's get into it.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Get
I'm ready.
into it. Yeah.
Okay, so I remember with my last relationship, it was just bad. The ending was bad, and all I felt was pray for him. Pray for him and pray that he heals, that he has expedited healing. And when you pray for someone else, like in gratitude that it's already done, the hate just like it can't be there at the same time. So I feel like if it's not even a relationship, if it's a family member, try that because it does wonders in your heart.
Ooh, that's good.
I would say for me, I am so big on like letting yourself go through your process and like questioning if something let you down, if something really hurt you, like allow yourself the time and space to really process it. Because usually for me, like I can't just do that and then jump into like being like, but everything's fine and I'm good and this and that and God is so good, like that's not second nature to me a lot of times, even though I know that's where I need to get to, and I need to get to a space where I can acknowledge everything that's good. A lot of times like I found that letting myself feel and process all of my emotions, like laying it all out on the table, has like it feels like so freeing. I feel like and then I think from there it allows me to be more open with God. Okay, it's like, okay, yes, I went through this and I feel this and I felt this and I felt this, but there's also this on the other side, and there's also this. But I place such a like huge importance on just like going through your process and letting yourself feel and not trying to jump into other things and jump into this. Just like process it, take your time, because healing takes time at the end of the day. You can't go from point A to point B, brokenhearted one day to, and I'm just phenomenal, then like it's not gonna happen. It takes time. So let it be a process. That's all I have to say.
Ditto.
That's real. Okay, so in 2010, my older brother was murdered, and it was a lot of questioning, right? Like it was like, why does bad things happen to good people, and like for what, and like questioning God, like he was one of us, he was like one of ours, and I think it's when you talk about process, like that's what it's all about. Like it's like who am I to question God? And of course I'm going to question. Of course I questioned it. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. But surrendering to the fact that like that is a part of my story, that is a part of my process, and really like I know there's other people here who probably have lost loved ones, but and everything that I do is about legacy, and everything that I do, I carry him. So I think when it comes to like things that are like really, really tough losses and heartbroken, it's like you have to surrender to the process, and that like God is God, and the enemy is still real, and things still happen in your life, but you have to walk in that and walk through it and walk and believe in the process. So I just really resonate with that because it's something I'm still processing. Why do bad things happen to good people? But it's my whole thing is like you have to surrender to God's will, and God's way for your life, because things are gonna happen. Life happens.
Man, I didn't even. Wow, thank you for sharing that. Wow, that's incredible that you've been able to just maintain your faith and to keep your heart pure? Because I mean, that's something, like the next question I was going to ask, it kind of segues into this, but like, you know, how do you keep your faith when God hasn't healed you the way you want him to? Or I'll actually add this, how do you keep your faith when God disappoints you? And that's like something that there was a message preached by my pastor a while ago, and he was talking about when God disappoints you. And, you know, there's kind of like this like taboo around like, oh, how can God disappoint you? Like, God is God. And it's like, no. There are some expectations that you may have, you know, in your life that, you know, you want met. And they're not huge. It's like, you know, I don't want, you know, this to happen to, you know, my brother. I don't want, you know, to go through this traumatic divorce. Like, I don't want to have to, you know, have a miscarriage. Like, I didn't go into my life wanting this to happen, but God, you know, but for some whatever reason, that's the way that life planned out. Not that God plans for bad things to happen, but that's the way that the things panned out. And obviously, I think, you know, that as you continue journeying on and as you continue going forward, God will turn a negative situation into something that will make good over time. Like, it's not that thing is good, and it's not that you know, was the ultimate plan, you know, that God wanted to happen. But I think that he can use the negative situation, and, you know, whether it's using you to have a voice to speak to other people that will go through that, like he can use that. He can use those situations. And so I think that it is a process. It takes time. I've always said, like, it's day by day by day. Like, it's not like this, like, you know, like overnight, or like, okay, I'm going to take this 5-week healing course and I'm going to be good. It's like, no. It's day by day 100%. By day. And, you know, it's hard. And, you know, you got to check your heart. Like, I've had situations in my life where, like, I was just angry. Like, I was just like sitting in my bed and I just felt anger, like, all over me about a specific situation. And, like, I had to just pray, like, because the peace did not come to me in that moment. Like, but I just had to pray, and I was like, God, like, I don't want to be an angry person. Like, I had to get, like, really, like, I don't want to be an angry person. I don't want to be a bitter person. Like, I don't want, you know, my life to just crumble because of this. And it was day by day by day. It was, you know, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't come from, you know, this, you know, and I had incredible spiritual experience, but it didn't come to that. It was just day by day. And getting more real, getting more honest, shedding some tears, having some long nights. But it was day by day by day. But yeah, how do you heal when God has disappointed you?
Oh my goodness. Yikes. Anybody want to take it?
Okay.
I got it. I guess I got it.
You got it.
I think you're right with it just takes day by day by day. And I also think, like, it's really not even gonna lie, for me, it can be like really, really hard. Like, but I think a lot of times it's like, yeah, kind of like what I said earlier, like, I go through my process and I am like questioning and I'm like, what's going on? And sometimes I do kind of feel myself like going astray, but I can only go astray to a certain point because, like, for me, like, life doesn't, like, I don't feel right without God. Yeah. Like, I literally like I'm not my best self, and I don't feel right without him. Nothing in my life really like works without him. I feel like I have this, like, I don't know. I feel I don't know how to describe it, but like I'm super like God would be like, he's always tapping me, you know what I mean? When I'm not in his will, when I'm straying away, like, I feel convicted so strong, and like, I can only push it down to a certain extent until it's like, okay, girl, you just tripping. Like, it's taking me more effort to go the wrong way than to just run back to God. It's taking me so much more effort to do that, and if I'm gonna, you know, expend that effort, I want to do the right thing, and I want to be well. I want to feel better, and I don't want to just stay in that disappointment. So I think that for me, a lot of times it's me going through that little process. Sometimes it's really short, sometimes a little longer, you know, of, you know, straying away and questioning and being like, what is going on? I don't like that this happened. Why did this happen? I'm confused. It doesn't make sense. I don't see how good can come from it. But then, like, little by little, God is like pulling me back, and like, or he'll place people in my life to like speak little words into me. Yeah. And that'll like, that'll kind of like lead me back on the right track. And then, finally I'm just like, I tried to do this on my own. I suck at it. I'm really, I don't feel great about myself, and I need you. Yeah. At the end of the day, I need you, and I trust you because, and then remembering the past situations too, where he's disappointed me, and how when when it looked like everything was dark, like how he would turn it around, and I would be like, this is why this happened. Even if it was 5 years down the line, even if it was 10 years down the line, I'm like, and so in this, even though it seemed so terrible at the time, you were preparing me for this. And it made sense because now I can touch this person, you know what I mean, with my story, and it can relate to them. So I think that, but it's definitely hard. I'll say that. I won't sugarcoat it. It's really, really difficult, but I think, that's my process. Yeah.
There's something that you said, it reminded me, Pastor Steph once said, God sends you winks from heaven. And when you're on your healing journey, he's like, okay, you're going the right way. And he uses other people to tell you that too. And and when I don't get what I think I wanted or needed, I think of that picture where it's a picture of Jesus and a little kid, and he has a big teddy bear behind his back. I've seen that. And then the little kid, and then the little kid is like, doesn't want to give up their little one. It's like, okay, I know God has way better than what I can even think or imagine. And then also when things don't go the way I want, I think like, oh, he uses all things to work for my good. Yeah. So I just keep that in mind, and I'm like, okay, God, you smarter than me, because like you said, I've tried it my way and it didn't work. Yeah. Like, it was really bad. It was really, really bad. Literally. I know you didn't want me to have to go through that stuff. Like those red flags, those were areas where you didn't want me to necessarily have to heal from, but you're going to use it for my good, where I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to help others heal through that same thing.
Yeah, I think the only, really ditto, but if I could add anything, it would be that like there's a lot of people who they get saved, and like there's that sense that day that you get saved, there's like that sense that like you're invincible almost, like anything and everything your way, like you can knock it out, and then you walk out church and like the real world is there, and like you forget that disappointment does happen, and like we almost feel like, but what, like I'm saved though, like I'm protected from this, like the weapons are looking like they're forming right now. I'm not the strongest soldier, God, and you're giving me this, Lord, it's looking like it's gonna prosper. It's looking like it's about to prosper. But the disappointment happens, and like it does, there's reasons, there's lessons, unfortunately, in those disappointments, and it does work together for your good. Like every single thing works together for your good, and there's always that connection to your story through someone else. Like we just connected yesterday, and I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm looking at myself, and vice versa. Like I feel like I see myself in everyone that I connect to. So it's process. Yes. So like gotta be in the episode.
Yes. I really like what you said too about like how a lot of times people when they're like, I'm saved, things shouldn't happen to me. Yeah. And that's not true. I honestly feel like a lot of times when you're walking with God, like stuff really starts happening. Like you thought stuff was happening to you before, and now it's like such a fight because you're trying to live right. But I think like for me, the promise that I always can hold close is like, okay, even though it seems like it's coming at you harder, like God is with you though. You don't have to do it the way you used to do it, because you used to just do it, with you and your own strength and stuff like that. But like knowing that like, okay, yes, I'm going through this and this is happening, but God is with me. Yeah. Like really brings like so much more peace to my soul.
It's true.
So I like that you said that.
Listen, the Bible character, y'all read the Bible, like these people were going through some things.
Oh yeah.
Like it was not rainbows. It was not like these people were. David was going through it. Yeah. Like took him decade before he became king. Like took him over a decade, I believe, before he became king. Like, and he had that promise when he was a little boy. Like you're going to go through things in life, but like you said, Taya, like what makes the difference is that you have a resource, and you know that there is something beyond this life. This life is temporary. This life does have imperfections. This life does have limitations, but this isn't it. This isn't it. There's more beyond this. And even in your now, you can tap into the joy and the peace that's, eternal in heaven, because, there is no sadness in heaven. That's why when you worship, you feel like you could be sad and you go into worship and you're like, I feel like this joy, I feel connection to my brother. Like I feel something, and it's healing because
that's the reality. Although this is reality here, there's also reality there. And it's real. Like his presence, like it brings all of that to reality and to remembrance. So yeah. And so the last question, what would you say to the person who is beginning their journey to healing? At the start.
Go.
No, I just meant, no. Okay. At the beginning, I would just say, be real, be honest, and know that you can't do it by yourself. And I would also say, okay, so that's like 4 things. Like, okay, so yes, be real, be honest, know that you're not supposed to do it by yourself, and that it's a process, that it takes time. You're not going to feel it the next day. You may not even feel it in the next week. But I think that the biggest way that you can start is just expressing it, put it out there. I believe when you start putting it out there, and when you're putting it out with the right people, there are going to be resources for you. There's going to be connection for you. And just be patient. Like, just be patient, because it will take time. But you're going to live beyond it. Like, don't feel like you're stuck. Like, you're going to live beyond it. You're going to get through it. And there are living witnesses literally right here, that you can go through something traumatic and you can come out on the other side blessed, fulfilled, joyful, happy. So don't give up.
Come out on the other side and look good.
And look good. That was my spook.
One tool that I really want to share is journaling. Because when your heart is open and you just have like a blank sheet of paper and a pen, like God will flow through you, and he will tell you like the areas like, oh snap, why is this happening? It's he helps you get to the root of things. And it is so beautiful. It's like a beautiful undoing to like rebirth like a whole brand new flower that you didn't even know was in you. Yeah. So, and then also have grace for yourself. When you said patience, all I heard was grace. Because you're not perfect, and these things are coming up. They're coming out of you. Like the things that you used to think were how you worked is like, oh, that it doesn't work. Oh, I'm the one that's bringing toxicity. Oh, okay, that has to come out.
Girl, am I the one? Yikes. The common denominator. Listen,
give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Oh, you look at me. Yeah. I was like, so I guess I'll go. Okay. Yeah, I agree so much with giving yourself grace, and like when you're going through your healing process and processing through things. Do not judge yourself. Like, make it a non-judgment zone for yourself. Yes, get around people that don't judge you too, but like, don't judge yourself for feeling the way you feel either. Like, if you feel this and it's a negative, feel it. You know what I mean? Because I think the only way to get over the hump is to go through. You have to go through that. Right. If you continue to judge yourself, you're just gonna push it off, and you're not truly gonna heal that space. So I would say do it without judgment, and recognize that it's a process. It's not gonna happen overnight, and it's not this like glamorized, cute, like I'm gonna just go meditate and everything's gonna be fine. It's not that either. You're gonna go through some tough moments, but the resilience that you're gonna have afterwards is gonna be incredible. Just if you just keep going and just go through your process.
Ditto, per usual. There was a message that SGR did a while back called the wilderness season. And I think if you're beginning to heal, or you're recognizing that, and like I said in the beginning, my disclaimer, I'm still healing, so don't take me as your answer, be all, end all. But everything is a season. Like there will be a season when you're in a season of isolation, and you can't be around people, and that's your time to lean in on God. There will be a season when you need to find your people and be vulnerable. And then there will be a wilderness season when you have to fight. Like you literally have to fight for your life 100%. Every single day. And then there'll be winning seasons, but recognizing that like they're seasons, like they change, it evolves. And I just think like back to, like when you have like a terrible breakup, like that first week trying not to talk to that person, or them first 3 days seem like the longest 3 days of your entire life. But like there's seasons. You look back and it's like, wow, why was I tripping? Like why was I doing the most? Like, but that would be my only advice, is that it changes. There's There's seasons. It happens for a reason.
That's good. That's
This
good,
is so
Carmen.
good. Y'all, this has been amazing.
Yes.
I'm not going to cry, but tears were welling up. That was so good. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this blesses you. And go back, take notes, journal. We'll be here. Thank you guys. Thank y'all.
Thank you for watching this video about healing. We really hope it blessed you because it blessed us. We hope that these tools don't just come to you here and stay here. We hope that you take this into your lives in every area of your lives and get to apply this. We hope that this strengthens you and your relationship with people. It definitely blessed us. We're thankful for this, and there's gonna be many more conversations coming just like this.
For sure. And honestly, bro, I think for me, I actually got healing. I got access to healing through this conversation, just to be able to hear these unique perspectives of how, you know, I'm not the only one that's going through stuff. And it's beautiful to know that when you go through things, sometimes it can feel isolating. It can feel like, man, I'm the only one who's experiencing this. I'm the only one who's going through this. But no, there are many other people who are going through similar things. And although they might not be the same thing, they're also going through things. And we can gain strength from one another. We could gain perspective from one another. And I'm just grateful to have a space to be able to do that. And if you were impacted specifically by this conversation and by Generation One and all the things that we have coming for you, we want to invite you to just sow into this movement, to sow into what God's doing through all of us. And I just believe that you're a part of it. And if you feel so called to help build Generation One, there's a QR code that is on the screen right now. We just want to make sure that you scan it. You can sow directly into it. And also, when you're sowing, you're not just sowing into Generation One and the productions that we have here, but you're also sowing into the movement of One and just allowing us to really go out and be the hands and feet of Jesus and find innovative and creative ways to build the kingdom and to bring new eyes and new people into the family of God, because that's what this is all about. So we love you. We're grateful. And what do they got to do now?
Well, first off, you got to like, comment, and subscribe.
That's right.
You can't lose track of these videos. There's much more coming. So go ahead and hit the like before you go about your day. Comment. Let us know what your favorite part was.
100%.
Let us know what else you want to see, and subscribe to keep up with everything else coming out. We love you guys.
That's right. Catch you next time. Peace.